So the news has come out, well, I guess you could say by yesterday, but today it's really come out there, is that in Spider-Man comics we're getting a story arc called Dead No More. Which, yeah, still proving that comic books don't give two shits about death. Yeah, it's more like power napping at this point, even though, in real life most people don't come back. And I would like for sometimes, whatever, I don't really want to go down that dark place. I'm still, you guys already know, so I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so, anyway, the whole Dead No More thing, let's talk about this. This will be written by Dan Slott, and look, Dan Slott, I don't know if you're watching this or not, but look, I really loved his Silver Surfer. And I'm apologizing in advance, Dan, if you're watching. I really loved his Silver Surfer. I love Spider Island. It's probably been one of the best Spider-Man-centric events we've had in a long time. But, yeah, Dan, time to move on. I actually want him to do something. I loved his She-Hulk. I loved everything else. There is some good Spider-Man stuff, but I feel like I want to say it's not all Dan Slott's fault. What I want to say, and what I think it is that Dan Slott, it's kind of like the same thing with Stephen Moffat, where, Moffat and Slott have all these really great ideas, and if you give them time, they can really expand on these ideas. But giving them either be the showrunner or make them the head of the, head writer on the comic, then, you're gonna, they're gonna feel a little more constricted in terms of ideas and not be able to flush out those ideas properly within time to get those deadlines set. And this was probably another idea, this has been an idea that's been cooking in there, and yeah, so Dead No More. Who could be coming back? Well, there are a few dead characters in Spider-Man's lore that have stayed dead. Now, it could be a number of people. It could be, I don't want to say the original Gwen Stacy, because we already have Spider-Gwen swinging around, so I don't want to say her. I really do not want to say I don't want to say 616 Gwen Stacy, because we already have Spider-Gwen swinging around, so that would be redundant. And we also have Gwenpool. We've also got Jean DeWolf. Jean DeWolf's another one. Jean DeWolf was kind of like Spider-Man. She was kind of like Spider-Man's equivalent to Commissioner Gordon. So, Jean DeWolf's another one. I know they kind of screwed around with the idea of bringing her back, even though it wasn't really. It's a confusing story. So it might be Jean DeWolf. It could be Ned Leeds. Ned Leeds is another one. It could, there are a number of characters that could come back. Harry Osborn. Well, Harry Osborn's not really dead. It's just that he hasn't been around since what? We haven't seen him since Dark Reign. No, really. I could be wrong because I haven't been reading a lot of Spider-Man. I did hear that he showed up in Superior a little bit, but I didn't read Superior, so I don't know. But here's the thing. Yeah, where did Harry go after Dark Reign? No, really, I don't know where the hell he went. Anyway, so what else did I want to say about that? So Harry, I think dead, but it doesn't really play into the whole Dead No More thing. Really, it doesn't, because Harry's not dead anymore. So yeah. So, but here's the big one, and this is the one that's been going around, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be, myself included, would be kind of just like, really? Really? And that's Uncle Ben. Could Ben Parker come back? Yeah. Now, you're probably saying, well, they brought characters back, from the dead that have been long dead for a long time. Bucky came back, and they explained how he was restored in the most coolest way possible. Yeah, Ed Brubaker gets a pass because that backstory for Bucky becoming the Winter Soldier is phenomenal, and it makes a very compelling story both here and in the movie. But, having said that, though, this is Ben Parker. You can't really explain away the death of this character. Jean Grey, she comes back all the time. Well, they found a loophole, but still, I guess it could count. Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, there are so many characters that have come back from the dead. But Ben Parker, I always feel like that's on the list of people that should never come back, including, the Waynes, Richard and Mary, Richard Parker and his wife, that's another pair that should never come back. And those two could easily come back. They kind of did it during the the 90s, but it turned out to be spies or something, or whatever, they were imposters or something. But yeah, they tried to do that, but it turned out to be a twist. It tried to be a Shyamalan twist. So that's the one everyone's banking on, is that's the character that Ben Parker may come back, which I don't want him to come back, because it kind of lessens, as you could say, oh, well, he's been dead since the 60s, it's time for him to come back. No, it's never a time for him to come back, because the whole point of Ben Parker's death is to, that was the whole inspiration for Peter Parker to become, the man he is and always will be. That's kind of his whole deal. He had to die to get that point across of great power and great responsibility, the code that Peter Parker lives by every day, and the code some people, at Marvel, just don't seem to give a shit about anymore. Oof, where did that spark of anger come from? Anyway. Man, wow, did I just sound super ranty right there. My apologies. Anyway. So that's my kind of deal, is that I just don't want, if it's it could be anybody. Dan Slott is a huge Spider-Man fan, and there are so many characters he could bring back. It could, Ben Parker's the one we're talking about, but it could be anybody. And there are some characters I just kind of don't want back, Again, it could be Jean DeWolf, it could be Ned Leeds, it could be, a number of characters. It could even be a villain. We kind of talked about with Dr. Octopus. There's another character. He's quote unquote dead, but how many times has this isn't the first time Ock has died. Remember in the 90s when Kane killed him? Yeah, for those who don't know, yeah, Kane killed his ass, but then they brought him back. But yeah, that's kind of the thing, is that you have there are so many characters, both heroes and villains. Now that I think about it, supporting cast and villains, the more that I think about it, that could easily come back from the dead. So, yeah, this is some tricky business. So, anyway, I'm betting it could be Doc Ock. I'm betting it could, the one I'm really betting on is Doc Ock, and yeah, I could even, but I think it's fair game for anybody, really. Anyway. So, you guys tell me, who do you think will come back in Dead No More? Just comment below, let me know, and once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and once again, hope you all, yeah, I already said that, but anyway, really interested in see what you guys have to say about this one, and yeah, I'm out.